Hi there, welcome back to the Grape Explorer. I've got a fun quiz lined up for you today. It's all about wine producers of the world. 10 questions to test your knowledge and perhaps you'll learn something new. If you are new to this channel, welcome. I'm the Grape Explorer. On this channel we do wine education, product reviews and lots of wine tastings. So if you're interested in all things wine, consider subscribing. There are of course thousands of wine producers the world over. I couldn't include them all in a quiz, we just don't have that much time. But this was a popular request on this channel to do a quiz on producers. So let's jump straight into question 1 and see if you can work out where this producer is based. Castillero del Diablo was founded in which country? Is it Argentina? Is it Chile? Is it Spain? Or is it Italy? It's always interesting to me how certain brands have global awareness, which can be down to the money that's put behind them, the marketing, or in the case of this particular producer, they're actually associated with my favourite football team, Manchester United, as one of the advertising sponsors. They're regularly shown around the grounds, which of course helps their brand and their profile. The brand themselves were originally founded in Chile, so if you've gone for answer B, you're off to a good start. Now moving on to question 2 and one of our favourite bubblies the world over. This one's all about champagne. The first vintage of Don Perignon was in which year? Was it 1871? Was it 1901? Was it 1921 or was it 1951? Don Perignon, one of many famous champagne houses known the world over. Don Perignons themselves can fetch some incredible value, particularly for the aged vintages. Not a cheap champagne, not one I've actually been able to personally enjoy. Perhaps I should start saving up for a special occasion and get myself a bottle. But I was quite surprised that this was perhaps a little bit later on than I expected. And this year they're actually going to be celebrating a really big anniversary because the correct answer is 1921. All right, moving on to question number 3 then. Let's see if we can associate another producer with their originating country. Dr Luson is a producer in which country? Is it A, Austria? Is it B, Australia? Is it C, New Zealand? Or is it D, Germany? It's hard not to give too much away here. If you've watched this channel for a long time, you know that one of my absolute favourite styles of wine is a bone-dry Riesling. And that might be a bit of a clue here as to the correct answer, because Dr Luson is a famous producer that comes from Germany. So that one is answer D. Moving on to question 4 then, how's your knowledge of acronyms? What does CVNE stand for? Is it A, Controlli van de Noordest? Is it B, Crianza Vino del Norte de España? Is it C, Compagnia Vinicola del Norte de España? Or is it D, Comité van Noord España? I'm not going to give too much away about what they produce at this stage, get you have a little bit of a think about that. CVNE is a particularly large brand in this country. They make a number of different styles of wine. But for me, they're mostly well known for their Riojas, which is going to be something of a clue, because one of these answers was in French and then one of them was almost a bit of Spanish and a bit of French. So they are a Spanish-based organisation. CVNE itself, when translated to English, means the wine company of northern Spain. That one is answer C, Compagnia Vinicola del Norte de España. Okay, let's go north from Spain into France and on to question 5. Mouton Rothschild can be found in which Bordeaux appellation? Is it A, the Haut-Medoc? Is it B, the Medoc? Is it C, Saint-Estèphe? Or is it D, Pauillac? Quite a tricky one. I've picked out all left bank Bordeaux appellations here, which will make things a little bit trickier. Mouton Rothschild is of course one of the first growths of Bordeaux following the 1855 classification. And first growths in many ways means they are some of the best quality coming out of Bordeaux and they have the best price tags to accompany that quality. Mouton Rothschild itself is based in Pauillac, so answer D is the correct answer. Now we're going to stay in and around Bordeaux for question 6. So which chateau is renowned for its sweet wines? Is it A, Chateau de Chem? Is it B, Chateau Mouton Rothschild? Is it C, Chateau Haut-Brion? Or is it D, Chateau Latour? This is possibly a slightly easier one for you. One of the things that I did learn about this chateau, and I'm sure this isn't the only chateau that does this, but I happen to be reading this, is when the berries have been picked and they're brought into the winery, they actually have a laser system that picks out the absolute best berries. I found that fascinating. That is how you reinvest all of that money that you make from these expensive wines. The answer in this case is, of course, Chateau d'Yquem. That is answer A. Taking a giant leap around our world, let's move on to question 7. Where are the majority of the Penfolds vineyards to be found? Is it A, the Barossa Valley? Is it B, the Eden Valley? Is it C, the McLaren Vale? Or is it D, Coonawarra? Taking a giant leap, of course, all the way from France to Australia. Penfolds are incredibly well established in Australia. Another brand whose wines can fetch incredible price tags. But what I like about Penfolds is they actually have a range of wines that make some a bit more accessible to the pockets like myself, and then wines are a bit more accessible to those with slightly deeper pockets and bigger wallets. The majority of the vineyards for Penfolds can actually be found in answer A, which is the Barossa Valley. So as we skip around the globe still further, let's move on to question number 8. The Montebello estate can be found in which mountains? Is it A, the Vosges Mountains? Is it B, the Cantabrian Mountains? Is it C, the Rocky Mountains? Or is it D, the Santa Cruz Mountains? Montebello is one of the estates that's part of the Ridge Vineyards group of companies. Fantastic reputation indeed for the wines that they produce. They produce those wines in California, so that's going to narrow down some of your choices here. Answer A, the Vosges Mountains, are actually close to Alsace. Answer B, the Cantabrian Mountains, are what you would find near Rioja. So it leaves you with the Rocky Mountains or the Santa Cruz Mountains. Perhaps saying California was a clue. That answer D, the Santa Cruz Mountains, was your correct answer. Taking us back into Europe then with question number 9. Fontodi and Felsina can all be found where? Is it A, Rioja, B, Chianti, C, Burgundy, or D, Lisbon? This is possibly one of the trickier ones in today's quiz because you obviously need to know where these brands are based, and the names of these producers doesn't necessarily give that away. But if you've taken a guess and you've gone for B, Chianti, well done, you got that one right. And then finally, we're going to finish in Bordeaux, where there are some incredibly famous chateaux, of course. This question is, which is the oldest wine estate in Bordeaux? And it harvested its 700th vintage in the year 2006. Is it A, Chateau Brion? Is it B, Chateau Petrus? Is it C, Chateau Pape Clement? Or is it D, Chateau Angelus? Incredible to think that in 2006 they produced their 700th vintage, which means that they were producing their wines as early as 1306. The vineyards themselves were planted in the year 1300, I believe, and you will still find them there today, and they belong to Chateau Pape Clement. So if you've gone for answer C, you got the last one correct. I hope this quick trip around the world looking at some of our famous wine producers has put your knowledge to the test. As always, of course, let me know your scores in the comments section below. For now, I'm the Grape Explorer. I will look forward to seeing you again soon. Cheers.